Without objection.
Mr. Speaker, the ladies in white are a group of wives, mothers, sisters, and daughters of Cuban political prisoners. The group came together after the arrests of 75 Cuban dissidents in April 2003. 75 Cuban political prisoners who 7 years ago joined the thousands of others who are in prison in Cuba because of their political beliefs or for crimes that are only crimes in a country brutally oppressed by a totalitarian regime of gangsters, by gangsters, and for gangsters. Because that is what the Castro brothers are, gangsters. Fidel Castro has been a gangster ever since he was a juvenile delinquent. He became a communist to give ideological clothing to his gangsterism. Raul Castro came to gangsterism via Marxism-Leninism, after his brother sent him as an almost illiterate adolescent to then Czechoslovakia, where he received a rigorous indoctrination in Marxism-Leninism. So the brothers arrived at gangsterism via separate paths, but they are both experienced and ruthless practitioners in the most violent and brutal forms of gangsterism. The ladies in white experience the tactics of the Castro's gangsterism every single day. The Castro's state security apparatus pays and trains thugs to strike fear in the hearts of all Cubans in order to keep the regime in power. The thugs, the plain-clothed terrorists of the Castro's regime, harass, intimidate, insult, spit upon, and engage in violence against the unarmed dissidents and other independent civil society members in Cuba. Those spectacles are known as acts of repudiation. The international press refers to the plain-clothed thugs of the Castro's state security apparatus as civilian government supporters. But that doesn't change their true nature. No, they're not plain-clothed government supporters. They're plain-clothed thugs of Cuban state security. On recent Sundays, the ladies in white have gone to church, as every Sunday, to pray for their family members who are political prisoners, and the thugs have become more violent. Protected by uniformed state security agents, the plain-clothed thugs have spat upon and committed acts of violence against Laura Pollán, Berta Soler, Reina Tamayo, Julia Esther Núñez, Asunción Carrillo, Loida Valdés, Laura Maria Labrada, and the other ladies in white. I hereby submit for the record the names of 96 ladies in white who have been actively demanding the release of Cuba's political prisoners in recent months. I also submit for the record a letter sent today by representatives of the ladies in white outside of Cuba, Blanca Reyes Castañón and Yolanda Huerga, asking international leaders for support of the ladies in white's struggle for human rights and liberty. This last Sunday, the day before yesterday, ladies in white were surrounded and subjected to 7 hours of insults and acts of violence by the plain-clothed thugs of the Castro's state security apparatus. Surrounded and subjected to nightmarish, abominable insults and grotesque sexual gestures, loud, constant screams and chants of communist slogans and violence for 7 hours the day before yesterday, subjected to the well-planned tactics which are part of the training of the plain-clothed state security agents of the Castro's gangster regime. But the ladies in white continue to stand tall. Like the political prisoners who they defend, the ladies in white represent the true Cuba. They embody the decency, patriotism, and love of the real Cuba, not the grotesque, perverted hatred, envy, and perfidy of the Castros and their gangster regime. This evening, my thoughts and prayers of limitless admiration and solidarity are with Cuba's Damas de Blanco, the ladies in white.
Mr. Davis.